Ty Simpson, Deontay Lawson, LT Overton, and the Alabama Crimson Tide head to Williams-Brice to face LaNorris Sellers, Nick Harbor, Jalen Kilgore, and the South Carolina Gamecocks in a big Week 9 matchup. Look, does South Carolina have a shot at this stage of the college football playoff? No, but they can absolutely try and play spoiler. This is still a team loaded with a bunch of talent. Shane Beamer is a very good head coach. I've got a ton of respect for the guy. This team cannot protect Sellers. He ran for over half a mile in the game against Oklahoma, sacked 6 times. Their matchup against LSU, sacked 5 times. He hasn't had time to throw. Wide receivers aren't getting enough separation. They have not been able to run the football effectively. Faison got 10 carries. He had 50 yards rushing. That was the only bright spot. Except for that, they ran the football for 24 times for a total of 4 yards for everybody else. Yes, the LaNorris Sellers, sacks, and all of that yardage gets minused against him, but still, they did not have any success on the ground. And who had success? Oklahoma pounding the darn football 40 times. 40 times they ran the ball. If I'm Jam Miller, I'm like, can I get back? Can I get fully healthy for this game? He looked fine in the matchup against Tennessee. I was expecting Jam Miller to be his normal self. He had 12 carries, didn't really play that great of a game. He only had, 15, 20 yards. He did have the touchdown, but it's like, get this man fresh and healthy and give him the rock 22 times. Alabama is just a different football team when he is on the field for the explosiveness. You know how else they are a different team? When Ryan Williams is catching the football and playing with a bunch of confidence, Ryan Williams showed up in a major way. There was the kid with the spectacular hands, 5 catches, 88 yards on the day against Tennessee. Look, the entire game did flip. Why they went under center with 3 more guys in the backfield trying to fake it like we're going to do play action? I bet none of you were thinking it was going to be a run. There's 9 seconds. If you run the football, you lose a chance at a field goal. There's no shot. I would go end zone twice, throw it to Chris Brazzell twice if you want. He's one of the best receivers in the SEC. Tennessee winds up throwing the pick 6, and Alabama basically wins the game on that play. They could have cut it to 2, cut it to what would have been a 6-point game before the half, and they end the football game in the first half against Tennessee. It frankly wasn't all that close. Alabama also possesses the weapon of who I think is the best quarterback in college football, Ty Simpson. Why is Ty Simpson the Heisman Trophy frontrunner? It's not just his accuracy. It's not his mobility in the pocket. He can scramble around and extend plays. It's not his arm and the ball. It comes out with such velocity. He's fearless. Ty Simpson will attack you anytime and every time because he believes where the ball is going to go will be in the right spot. He's in such sync in this offense with Ryan Grubb. It's such a different look to what Alabama is offensively compared to what it was a year ago with Jalen Milroe. No disrespect to Jalen, but he can't hold a candle to what Ty Simpson can do operating in offense, in a rhythm, on schedule plays. Yes, Ty Simpson can have a little bit of the theatrics to him, extended and running around, but 95% of the time it is on script. He's getting the ball out on time, and he is threatening every single blade on that football field. Every piece of grass can be threatened any moment. The ball comes out with this sizzle to it. Even watching it at home, you're like, oh my goodness, this kid just throws a tight, perfect spiral, and he's got the mobility added to that. And the best trio of wide receivers in the country with Isaiah Horton, Ryan Williams, and Jeremy Bernard. If I'm South Carolina, if I want to have a chance in this game, they have to manufacture pressure. And unfortunately, we don't know what's going to be of Dylan Stewart. I got to come out here and say, I was very disappointed in the training staff for South Carolina. Stewart got banged up earlier in the game. He was working on the hip. I believe they took him to the locker room. He should not have been out on the field. What are we doing putting Stewart out on the field? He immediately goes down, and then there's a little bit of an immature moment from him. He's like trying to get back on, and the female trainer's like having to push him. Stewart's like, yeah, I can play. And she's having to push him up. First of all, I know the rule. If you go down, you have to come out for a play unless there's a timeout. So get off the field, Dylan. You're hurt. Stay off the field. So I can't blame a player in Dylan Stewart, who is competitive, one of the best football players in college football. the true sophomore, young, so much talent to try and fight for his team. He doesn't care what the record is. He just wants to compete and play a football game. But I can fault the training staff for putting himself in risk, not knowing his limitations. He has to learn that and be able to decipher a better job of what can actually be damaging to his career and himself as well as the team by not being his full self out there. But you have to respect his competitive nature. The fact that he was out on the field playing in order to potentially get really badly injured, I thought that was malpractice on the side of South Carolina. You know what also was malpractice? LaNorris Sellers by the sideline. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, we have several situations here. First and 10 at the 15 of OU, 3:15, I want to say, in the first half, extending the play, and he loses 4 going out of bounds instead of throwing the football away. Throw it away. Don't take the loss. The exact same thing happened. The exact same thing happened earlier in the game where instead of throwing the football out of bounds, what does Sellers do? He just runs out of bounds. 5-yard loss. Also at the end of the half, I know you're going to be blaming the officials and blaming Oklahoma. It was smart by Oklahoma. Sellers throws the ball underneath to a guy that's not close to out of bounds. He gets tackled. They jump on top of him, and they don't get a chance at a 53-yard field goal. I don't feel sorry for you. Smart quarterbacks, good quarterbacks, players that have NFL potential are guys that elevate their team. Sellers did not elevate his team in this game. Now, did he have help from his offensive line? No, he didn't have help. He was running all over the place. Oklahoma, again, sacked him 6 times on the day. He had no shot. They couldn't run the game. There was no balance to them. They had 13 tackles for loss. R. Mason Thomas living in the backfield. Robert Spears, the Jennings having a good day in the back end for them. Kendall Daniels. I mean, what are we doing here as an offensive line? They have to absolutely address that in the offseason. Can't believe we're already talking about that in the middle of October, but that's where we are right now. But LaNorris Sellers, you have to make smarter decisions. You have to be quicker with your decision making, and this is something that needs to be addressed. I would imagine he's coming back for another season with the Gamecocks. Wouldn't imagine he would leave for the draft unless there's just an availability. Maybe people see it to be a first-round pick. I really think there's a lot there to be in these types of games to play another full season in the SEC against this type of competition. But you compare Sellers and his decision-making in another year as a full starter compared to Ty Simpson already, who's like, yeah, I'll throw the football away. Or, all right, immediately I'll scramble up and I'll get a 2-yard gain instead of just weaving back and forth, creating and almost, hurting himself. He takes too many unnecessary shots that reminds you a little bit of Justin Fields in a sense, where it's just, he can't be taking that many shots. Shane Beamer's special teams for South Carolina against Alabama. Kalen DeBoer, you have to be prepared for the fake punts. The punt returns for South Carolina are some of the best in college football. They've been unbelievable at it, but the 4th and 2 fake punt. Oklahoma was in punt safe. That had no shot. It's at midfield. It's still a football game, and they throw that. I didn't like it. You could see the whole thing coming. It's just they committed to it. The guy's got the ball in his hands, and he said, "Oh, we're gonna fake it. If it's not there, you expect him to still punt the ball or throw it away for some of these wide receivers? No, they got the ball in their hands with a play call that says I can throw it. They're gonna throw it like 98% of the time, but." I expected more from Sellers this season. I expected the leap the same way a lot of you did. I put him in my top 5 for college football quarterbacks going into 2025, not just because of the size, the speed, the arm strength, the talent, but because you saw some of the awareness a year ago towards the last stretch when they were one of the hottest teams in college football going down that stretch before the loss to Illinois in the bowl game. He looked smart out there. He looked composed. He looked like he was in control, that he was a guy fully elevating his team, that they weren't just playing well with him. They were playing well because of him. Right now, they're playing poorly, not just as a squad, not executing, but also Sellers bringing the baseline a little bit lower. Look, we'll go a little bit more so on the positive side here in a second. He did have a heck of a couple of plays running the football and throwing it around. Faison still, he's been a large impact for South Carolina. but it's hard to see a way that South Carolina hurts this Alabama front with LT Overton, with Tim Keenan, with Justin Jefferson, Deontay Lawson rolling behind that. And then in the secondary, Keon Sabb, they are so loaded on the Alabama defensive side of the football. It's hard for me to imagine South Carolina consistently driving the length of the field. Look, Nick Harbor still is one of the most dangerous players in college football when targeted. But look, what did Nick Harbor what did he even do on the day? He had a touchdown and 4 catches for 22 yards. I believe he had the touchdown on 4th and goal from the 1. That was great. You kick a field goal. The first drive, you're down 7-0. It's 4th and goal from the 5. We kick a field goal. You're chasing points. Kick the field goal. Why are we going for it on 4th and goal from the 5? The first possession in the game. Shane Beamer, I get it. You're trying to be aggressive, but in that case, it's such a conservative call, in my opinion, because it looks like you're not going to pick that up. Alabama, this offense, they will come out throwing with tenacity. They will come out with an edge to them saying, all right, South Carolina, can we put this team in the dirt in the first 25 minutes of gameplay? Can we jump up 31-6 on them? Just put them away early? And Simpson throw 3 touchdowns and just go out there and dominate and win this game in the first half in a similar type of manner you've seen the Ohio State Buckeyes do, you've seen Indiana do? Because as of right now, the best 3 teams in college football, whether you like it or not, are Alabama, Ohio State, and Indiana. An argument can be made for Texas A&M. I frankly got to go see them do it on the road against LSU. Is LSU a great team? They are not, but still winning at Death Valley on the road at night is a type of caliber win that makes you say, all right, Texas A&M, like, here's some respect to that squad. But Alabama, the way that they've turned it around since the loss to Florida State, I don't care what becomes of their season. Nothing was better for that program and Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb and company than getting the doors blown off by Penn State. Can't stop the run. Can't protect their quarterback, Ty Simpson, but he flashed in moments, fighting for a first down there at the end of the game, trying to pick it up on a 4th and 12. Parker Brailsford playing great center. And now Caden Proctor's looking like a top 5, top 8 pick in the 2026 NFL draft. No sacks given up to Tennessee, a front that was so dominant the last couple of years with Omar Norman-Lott and James Pierce. They flat out outplayed Tennessee overall on the day. You want to tell me a little bit about Tennessee? And Aguilar threw for 268. A little bit of garbage time added to that. Alabama was in no doubt. Yes, you gave up 140 yards on the ground, but it wasn't hurting you to the sense where, like, oh man, in the red zone they're gonna pick it up and we're gonna break. They were bend don't break. Really didn't break all that often. This game was close in the first half. Second half, it was all Bama. I don't see a manner in which Alabama loses this game. I would be shocked. I know it's on the road. I know it's a tough environment. Afternoon game. We're fired up for it. LaNorris Sellers, can he play elite? Be a guy that elevates his team to win this game? The deep shots, Racel Faison, come up with a 100-yard performance or 18 carries for 97 yards, enough for him. Sellers on the ground establishing it. I've been waiting for the number 2 wide receiver all season to establish himself, or for Nick Harbor to be like, yeah, I'm a top 5 wide receiver in the Southeast Conference, because frankly, we haven't really seen that already. So I am going to go with Alabama to win this game outright and to cover. As of right now, actually, I've got an Alabama win, 34-20. As of right now, the line is at 13.5. I think Alabama can cover that. 34-20. They knock off South Carolina on the road at Williams-Brice. Still fired up. There's so much talent for South Carolina. This team still has spurts where they play at a very high level. But Alabama and the machine they are playing with right now, they look like the class of the SEC, or if not, amongst the best 2 teams in the conference and a legitimate national title contender as they go along. They're coming off of consecutive 4 straight ranked opponents. They went out there and beat Georgia on the road, and that was the win. That's like, all right, now we have a shot to actually have a season here. They beat Vanderbilt at home, which was massive after being down in that game. They went out and they beat Missouri on the road, 2 ranked road wins, and then they come out and they get the win against Tennessee in the cigar matchup, a squad that's beat them 2 of the last 3 years. Now it's 2 out of 4 with the win. And this is an Alabama team now that's going through the gauntlet of their schedule, a schedule that appears to be one of the toughest in college football. They are going through it not with ease. Vandy game was close. The Mizzou game down to the wire, tough. Georgia game down to the wire, absolutely. They're not dominant in the sense, but it's tough when you play that SEC schedule and all those quality teams. So I got Alabama in a win, 34-20. They pull it out. Let me know down below in the comments who you think is the best quarterback in college football. Maybe who you think is the best program in the country. If you're a Bama fan, you'll probably say them. I want to hear from all of you guys. Please subscribe for more Blitz of Blender content in the future. I make NFL and college videos every single day. Cannot wait for this matchup. More SEC, the Big Ten matchups as we get towards the college football playoff rankings time. I'm going to have college football rankings and NFL stuff. I do that every day. A live content is going to start coming out very soon that you guys do not want to miss as we go through it all. All we do is talk football, and we do it every single day. So please subscribe for more, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.